It's not showing.
It's there. It is. You're here. Tracy, you're on. Kirsten, you better talk.
Hi, everybody. This is Tracy from TierraCast's, and I'm here with Kirsten. She is our product and tooling facilitator.
Hi, Facebook friends, and thank you for letting me join in on your fun today. And I will just say that this is a collection that is near and dear to my heart because it's for all you other makers out there.
Yay. This is the first time we've done a Facebook Live from the shop on our own. We've had friends that have come in and visited, and we've done live videos with them, but this is the first time we've done it for one of our own product launches, and we're a little nervous. Yeah. And we're also trying to make sure that we've got you, that we can see your comments and questions on the laptop here, so that hopefully if I catch your questions, I'll be able to answer them here. And if I miss you, then I promise I will answer them later after we're done with the video. So we're here to introduce our fall release, which is Finishing Touches. And we're very excited about it. As Kirsten said, she's pretty excited about it. It is a collection of components that is specifically designed for finishing your designs. And seed beads and shape beads were a huge influence with this, developing this line. So, what's your favorite group, Kirsten?
My favorite group is our Crimp ends by far.
I also love the crimp ends. Forgive me, guys, I am going to be going back and forth to that. I also love our crimp ends, but that's just a tease. We're actually going to start by talking about our cord ends. We do have some new cast pewter cord ends, and this is a big deal. If you're familiar with our product line at all, you know that we do have cord ends, but we didn't know how to cast them ourselves. So we worked with a company in China, and they created brass cord ends to our specifications and third-party certified, and then we brought them back over here to the States and had them plated to match our finishes. But that was a while ago, and production has finally found ways to cast our own, so that's what we have here.
I think what's really cool about being able to cast the cord ends ourselves is that everyone needs cord ends, but we finally have the chance to make them in our pewter and also make them with the beautiful TierraCast's style decoration that everyone has known to come to know and love.
Yeah. So we have 3 different groups with this product release. The first group is what we call our rope motif, and that may be familiar to you because we released a couple of rope motif parts with our Oceans collection, I think it was. So what we've added is an 8mm cord end and a 5mm cord end. And what we love about this particular motif is that it is very gender neutral. So it's great for men's designs, women's designs, whoever may want to make something with it. Now, and our second group is what we're calling Palace. And it has a very subtle hammered pattern with a little bit of beaded embellishment at the bottoms, and it also comes in an 8mm and a 6mm. And what's great about the 6mm cords is you can use 5mm cord or 6mm cord, and any of them are great for multi-strand and kumihimo type of work, and even beaded ropes like you see here on this one. So the next group is what we call our temple, which has a very lovely design that works really nice. It was inspired by our caravan collection from 2018, which was very popular. So we applied some of that kind of patterning to these 2 cord ends. They're both 6mm. One has a loop and one has a hole, which makes it really wonderful for wire wrapping. So as we did with this Viking knit design. And then the last 2 cord ends in the group are these little 2mm cord ends. And one has the temple pattern and one has a kind of a modified palace pattern. So that's that nice, delicate, hammered pattern. And they're of course wonderful for 1.5 or 2mm cord, and they can be glued on, of course, but they can also be crimped. This one was connected to this cord using some mighty crimpers, the big crimping pliers. So that is just a really nice option when using these 2mm cord ends, is that you can crimp them instead of glue them. The last thing, we added, well actually there's another last thing after this last thing. We added this 8mm bail, which was specifically for Kirsten.
Yeah, we wanted to give a really beautiful gender-neutral option for all of our Kumihimo folk out there, and it of course works for other thick leather and other projects, but we wanted to give something that kind of was in the theme of the rope group.
And with a nice big inner diameter, so it fits 8mm cords, or like she said, Kumihimo and seed bead ropes. So then, after we were done with all those cord ends, we had done this rope motif magnetic clasp with the Oceans launch. So because we were launching the 5mm cord ends as a cord end, we also added in the 4 finishes. All of this collection is available in our silver antique, our copper antique, gold antique, and brass ox. So we added 2 more finishes to that rope magnetic clasp. And we also added a magnetic clasp in the Palace. They're very strong magnets. We did a lot of product development around what kind of magnets to use, so we chose some really good secure magnets. And we also have this Palace magnetic clasp to round out this group from the new launch.
And I really love that clasp also because it's beautiful, but it's another one of those designs that's kind of like a gender neutral design that really will work out with any design motif.
It's true, both of them. I'm going to check and see if anybody's got any questions.
Just a whole lot of love coming so far.
Oh, I see Tara is here. Hi, Tara. And Lena Gillespie, hello.
And yeah. Danielle is too.
Oh, Danielle! I knew she was going to be here. She decided. We'll talk more about Danielle later. But yes, I'm going to try and catch questions, but I can't promise. So the next group.
The next group is my favorite group. So around the shop, we have affectionately referred to our crimp ends as our tacos. So if you're feeling hungry, this group's for you. The reason that I love this group, there's several reasons. I think anyone who has made jewelry has worked with ribbon crimps, and they're vital, but they're not usually decorative. They're usually very plain, serve their function, but don't really add much to the design. What's great about these is they are open, so you don't have the teeth in the way of your design. You can use them for many more applications, so they're much more versatile. And this particular design is double-sided. It's really beautiful. You can choose which side to use, but we also made it to suit a whole variety of uses.
I love this pattern too. This one was also, the shape and the pattern was also, I think, inspired by our Caravan collection,
Definitely.
right? Because that was just such a beautiful line. So the pattern here on the crescent as well has just that really delicate, beautiful appearance. And then the smaller one, which is maybe 3/8 of an inch wide, but as you can see, they're graduated sizes, so there really is some versatility. This one has that delicate hammered appearance, and we tried these parts with a lot of different techniques. My personal favorite was I created a loomed bracelet using them, and I love Kirsten's approach with these fan tassels. Those are awesome. And we also added them to our own leather strap, which worked wonderfully. And these are crimpable, so you can use your fingers if you're strong, or you can use flat nose pliers to crimp those down. And with a softer material, it will hold nicely. For other materials, you'll want to reinforce with glue, partly because you don't want to crimp down hard on glass seed beads because it could break them. So that's why you want to use some glue with those. But we tried them with 11/0 and 8/0, and we sent some samples to Diane Fitzgerald, which you guys have got to be familiar with her name. She's She's a seed bead diva in the beading world, and she promptly sent us back this gorgeous earring design using some Checkmates beads. So thank you, Diane, for that. We were thrilled to get those. So you can see there's a lot of versatility with these crimp ends. We're pretty excited about them. Oh, and multi-strand designs. Julie had this idea, and we should point out too that many of you know Julie. She's behind the camera today. You might hear her giggle here and there. So she had said we should try it with multi-strand when we were doing the jewelry designs. So this is what came out of that idea, and I love it.
I think we had a hard time stopping designing with these parts.
I always have to be a bit of a hard nose about it. 12 designs, that's all we can photograph. 12, no more. And sometimes we stick to that, sometimes we don't. So the next group is our stitch-ins. Kirsten, what can you tell us about these?
I can tell you that we are very proud of our stitch-ins. There has been a need in the seed bead community that people would love to finish off their designs and have the loops be integral.
Stitch-in.
And so we took a lot of time and research to get the spacing perfectly sized. So we sized them to work with a really wide variety of different beads, so seed beads and then a bunch of shaped beads, and we really were delighted to find that they work perfectly with the Checkmate system and other shaped beads, of course, as you can see in these two.
So they're tiles and they're bricks and the ginkgos, and we did a lot of other examples with different sizes. So the super duos were really nice, different sizes of seed beads. Tilas, this pattern here was one of the prototypes, so that's not obviously not the same as this one, but we had tried some tilas and half tilas with that one. So you can see that there's just also a lot of potential for that. So we did what we're calling our Oasis ending, which is two-sided. You can see it's got a little beading embellishment on one side and no beading embellishment on the opposite side. So that gives that a little versatility.
It's really lightweight too, so it doesn't add a lot of weight to your designs.
And then using the same specs, you guys created this temple magnetic clasp, which is just a really beautiful, the similar pattern to what's on the temple cord ends, and super strong magnet. And one thing that's good to know about these type of magnetic clasps is it's better to slide them apart than to pull them. It's less wear and tear on your beadwork, and also less wear and tear on the magnet, on the component itself. So best thing to do is slide those apart when you're using them. And they really are a very strong magnet. We had a hard time getting these positioned on the tray so they weren't all going clumping together. So that's the stitch-ins. We're pretty excited about those two.
Too, just a note is that the inside spacing is about 6 millimeters. So
right.
Any seed beaters will always take something and create all kinds of wonderful things that we never would have even considered. So your space in there is 6 millimeters.
Generous.
A generous 6 millimeters, yeah.
Someone was asking, I think it was Sylvia, if you could show the inside of the crimp, and I know we did earlier, but can we just go back to that very quickly?
The inside of the crimp end?
Yeah, maybe each one just to...
Okay, so they're different sized on the outside, but the inside opening is roughly fits an 8/0 seed bead, which is about 3 millimeter. So now you can also, the way to open these is with a pair of chain nose pliers. You just stick the jaws in there and open the pliers, and it spreads them apart. So you can fit 4 millimeters of softer material in there, and you can pinch it down if you're using a thinner material. So all of them are the same. They're about that 3 millimeters in opening size. Yay, thank you for the question. Next, our glue-on caps.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's me. I turned to Kirsten because tell us how you made that.
Okay, well, the glue-on caps were in development for a really long time because we wanted to make sure all of these parts were really designed for the makers and for beaders in general. So Alan, our owner, worked for
And the other half, the product development team.
Yeah. We worked extensively with a couple different seed bead designers that you will know and you love in order to get the peg the perfect length and the diameter perfect. And we added these little incised lines to make sure that when you put your projects on there that they're really secure.
Because they're adhesive. The scored lines means the adhesive will hold secure. So yeah, one of the designers you sent them to was Cynthia Kimura from Art Beads, and we sent her some prototypes, so these aren't even the finished ones. But she tested several different stitches and sides of beads and sent us back these great little samples, and all of them she stitched her beaded tubes or ropes, and then she used adhesive to glue them onto the caps, which is exactly how it works. E6000 seems to work really well as a thicker one, and probably epoxies would work as well too. So thank you, Cynthia, for these wonderful examples.
She was really pivotal in the development of that part. So
yeah. And then later, once we had our finished samples, we sent some up to Danielle Wicks. She's a designer up in the Pacific Northwest, and she was over the moon excited about them. And the reason we had picked her was because I had seen seed beaded rope designs of hers on her social media using our bead caps, and I thought, well, she's using the bead caps to finish those somehow cleverly. I'm sure she could work with these. So we sent her a bunch of them up, and she just ended up doing an immense amount of experimenting for us. So she sent back some finished samples in Russian spiral. This one's a herringbone stitch. This is a netted rope stitch, and these ones are size 10 delicas. I think that Cynthia also worked with size 11 delicas, but there really is, you have to do some experimenting with whatever you're using to see how they'll fit on the rope. So really she gave us some beautiful examples that we were just absolutely thrilled with. All three of these groups, the crimp ends, the stitch ends, and the glue-in beaded rope caps, we have blog posts on our website. They just went up today. They just got finalized and made live today, and it gives you a lot of detail about how to work with all three of these groups. We will have one for cord ends as well a little later, but these three especially, because they're just such interesting and innovative groups who we really wanted to be able to tell people what our experiences were. And with this one, Danielle gave us just so much information. It's really got a lot of content. It's really wonderful.
I have a question for you.
What's your question?
Tracy isn't ready for this question. Is there a project sheet for these earrings?
There is. Several of the designs here are already up with projects on the website, including Danielle's earrings, this loomed bracelet, Kirsten's fan earrings, the little 2mm bracelet stack, and then this this rope themed parts. All of those ones already have projects up on the website. So
that's my favorite.
Jill Wiseman just said that she bought all the things because she loves this line, and anybody that knows Jill Wiseman knows stuff.
Well, and thank you to Jill too, because I sent her some samples, and she didn't send back any finished samples, but she sent me a photograph of a gorgeous, I think probably size 8 seed beads, Jill, but maybe 11s. It was beautiful. It was about this width, black and white, with one of the silver larger crimp ends on it, and it was just gorgeous. So it's perfect, just perfect use. I want to bring up one other thing. When we were talking about the glue-in beaded rope caps, one of the things that we discovered, well, they were kind of inspired. We had these products in the line for several years. They were designed for use with lampwork beads made on a 3/32 mandrel. So they're just, the peg is shorter and it's just a little bit over 2 millimeters wide, I think. And so when we have often wondered if there were other uses for this. So that was part of the they came into play when you guys were developing these
Definitely.
larger ones. And so again, I sent a few of these up to Danielle, and she created some beautiful designs along the same techniques as the ones with the new ones. So those also have some other possibility with the beaded rope techniques. So, and that's it. That's everything. So, again, finishing touches. It just launched today. Our email went out to all of our customers, and we are wholesale only, so that means that our customers will be buying them, we hope, and they'll be available at your favorite retail sources, hopefully sometime within the next week or so.
But lots of stuff on the website for everybody.
And our website, that Julie reminds me, you can find all the product details on our own website, as well as the blog posts and a blog post about the line in general, the whole thing.
Inspiration projects.
Inspiration projects. So we're excited, and really want to thank you guys for tuning in to hear us talk about the new launch. And I think that's it.
Thank you for letting me come hang out with you guys, and I hope you guys love this line as much as we do. We just couldn't stop creating stuff with it, and I think you guys will too, because maker's gonna make.
Thanks.